All right, welcome back. Today we're talking Darnell Wright, right tackle from the Chicago Bears, heading into year two. This is a guy who's set up to break out his second year in the National Football League, and we've got a great set of cut-ups towards the end of his rookie year last year to highlight how good Darnell Wright will be for the Bears going forward. As always, if you appreciate this content, give us a like, give us a comment with any feedback you might have. But without further ado, let's jump right into the film. All right, we're going to open up with a running play. There is Darnell Wright right there at course at right tackle. And this is just going to be a standard zone scheme up front here for the Bears. Everyone's kind of working to their left right here, taking the gap to their left. We're going to get kind of a zone double team on the backside here between the right guard and right tackle. They want to get movement this direction. Most likely the guard will work up here to try and get a linebacker flowing over the top or a linebacker filling inside right there. That puts a lot of pressure on Darnell Wright. He's going to get on this defensive tackle right here, this three technique lined up on the outside shoulder of the guard. He's got to get on him and get movement, get him down, squash down here. The tight end's going to pull this way. I should say sprint. He's not really pulling. He's a tight end to kick out the in man on the line of scrimmage. The goal is to create a seal here and a seal here so the running back can cut out behind it. Let's check out how Darnell Wright does. All right, there's a snap. Again, you can see the double team right there. Look at that movement. Look at that dislocation by 58 right here. Right there. Watch him just bury that defensive lineman down. Look at where this defensive lineman starts, right? He's about a yard and a half to the right of the hash. Look where he ends up. About a yard and a half, 2 yards to the left of the hash in the dirt, right? That is great work from Darnell Wright. Now, you would like Cole Kmet, you would like the receiver filling here on the backside to, not run into each other, get the running back killed, right? Because if you look at this hole right here, if you freeze it right here, if they get any piece of one of the or two of these defenders, right up the hash right here, one-on-one with the safety for a big play. And it's all because of Darnell Wright getting on 62, the defensive tackle, and burying him into the dirt.
Yeah, Nick, and when you look at what Wright is doing in this play in particular, you talk about, run blocking, you're talking about a guy getting dislocation, and it'd be one thing, if it's early in the season, maybe if it's against a lesser opponent. This is against the Cleveland Browns, the number 6 ranked defense in the NFL last season with all kinds of superstars all over the front of this defense. This is a team to not scoff at when you're talking about edge rushers and guys who can really get into the backfield. So the fact that Wright is able to come out and do such good work and move these guys, I think this is, attributing to how much better he got from the beginning of the season to the end of the season. I think this is a guy showing he can now play with the big dogs on any given Sunday.
All right, going the other way. Now we're going to do a pass protection. There's Darnell Wright right there at right tackle. Again, we're going the other way. So you can see the Browns, they've got 3 guys basically lined up on the offensive left, the defensive right. This nose guard's basically head up. But basically, when defenses line up like this, the whole strategy is you're going to get this defensive tackle working this way, this defensive tackle or defensive end who's reduced down working this way. So you can get one-on-one right here, tackle on end right there. That's the whole point of this scheme. And then maybe you get one-on-one here on the backside, right? This is traditionally what most NFL defenses do. The Browns are pretty clever, right? Because offensive linemen, when they see this, they kind of know what's coming. What they actually do here is they try and loop this defensive lineman all the way down across this direction. You get the defensive line working vertical here first, then he's going inside while the rest of these guys are working like this. So theoretically, what the Browns are trying to get, they're trying to see, okay, Darnell Wright, he's a rookie, he's inexperienced, he's going to be focused completely on this guy, and we're going to bring this defensive tackle around right here, and he's going to get to the quarterback. Let's check out what Darnell Wright does here. He shows a lot of savviness for such a young player, and it's why he has such a bright future. Okay, there's a snap. You can see right there, Darnell Wright, one-on-one, number 99. You can see 93 working into the A gap to the left or the right of the center there, our left, kind of traditionally what you would expect. But watch what he does. He continues to work all the way around, but Darnell Wright's there to pick him up. This is great work by Darnell Wright. Good set, gets on the defensive end, rushes him inside into his help, and the moment he sees 93 appear, he separates, gets on him, locks him up. Great work. Right, this is a phenomenal rep on the offensive right side right here. The center, 62, he's kind of flailing all over the place. You can see him kind of struggle. He's running around just trying to get hands on people. He ends up doing a decent enough job. But again, it goes back to Darnell Wright. He does a good job on 99, forcing him into his help, and then coming out, picking up 93. Great savvy rep here from the young offensive tackle. This is why he has such a bright future. All right, this may be one of my favorite plays I saw from Darnell Wright all last season. So here the Bears are just going to do a slide protection to the offense's left, the right side of your screen. Everyone's just going to take a gap to their left right there, just like this. So Darnell Wright's going to sit down in this gap here. Tight end's going to work this way. When you take the gap inside, you work your feet down inside, but you also want to see if anyone's coming this way. And then you take your offhand and then just shove him right in the chest, any defender, while always keeping your eye on your gap, right? And this is actually a really tough block for anyone to do, again, because you're just throwing your arm into an NFL pass rusher, which is hard enough to stop him, while also trying to keep an eye on anyone working this way. Darnell Wright does an impressive job. He basically knocks two people to the ground. Let's check it out. All right, you can see the slide protection. So you can see Darnell Wright works to his left right there. He's looking at his gap. He sees number 91 for Cleveland run right to him. Now watch what he does with just his right arm. Shocks him, and 91 falls right to the ground. Look at this again, folks. Watch 91. Boom. It's like getting a jab. It's like watching a boxer get hit in the face and he just staggers. Boom. Drop to the ground, completely eliminated. But here's the beautiful part, right? So Darnell Wright's right there, but 94 at this point, he sees green grass. So he's working across this way. He thinks maybe he can get pressure. But watch Darnell Wright recognize and react and put 94 on the ground as well. Great rep here from Darnell Wright. This is the evolution of a player. This is the physical tools with one hand, shocking an edge rusher, and then reacting and putting a defensive tackle into the ground. Great rep here from Darnell Wright.
Yeah, Nick, and we've seen this efficiency in his pass blocking game go up throughout the whole season. If you look at weeks 1 through 13, I'd say the first 2/3 of the season, Darnell Wright only has one pass blocking efficiency grade of 97 or above, and that's a PSF stat measuring pressures allowed on a per snap basis with weight towards sacks being allowed. If you look at week 14 to week 18, he has 3 games graded 97 or above in pass blocking efficiency. Again, one of these games, the Cleveland game as well, he did absolutely phenomenal, really got much, much better, much more comfortable at the latter third of the season. And I really think we're going to see him come on strong this coming season.
All right, we've got another matchup here. Here, the Bears are playing the Atlanta Falcons. Again, it's the latter part of the season. We're seeing Darnell Wright there at right tackle continue to get better and better. This is going to be a running game here. We're talking inside zone scheme here, working to the offense's left, the right side of our screen right here. You're going to get the left tackle working this way. You're going to get the guard working this way. He's going to first check to see what happens with this guy right here to make sure he doesn't have to give the center help. The center's going to work this way right here. We're going to get the tight end. He's going to actually do kind of a funky deal. He's going to release out as if he's blocking or going out for a pattern to try and hold the safety and some of the guys on this side of the line of scrimmage. And we're going to get Darnell Wright, and we're going to get the right guard right here. They're going to do a zone double team right here, working up to 55. And these kind of blocks, you got to get them cut off and you got to get movement. Puts a lot of pressure on the young guy right here. Let's check out how he does. There's a snap. And right there, you can see we're looking at his zone scheme to the offensive left. You can see the left guard check inside, then he works out. You can see the left tackle going out. You can see the center working to his left, getting on the defensive tackle right there. And you can see the backside right here. Watch Darnell Wright in 64, right? They get on 95. Darnell Wright gets on him, gets some movement up the field. Here's what really frustrates me about the Bears. 64, right here. Go to 55. Get off of him. Your buddy's got him. He's too slow. Ends up being like a 3-yard run. They had the numbers. Like right here, you can see this hole, folks. Darnell Wright has got movement. He is squared up 95, and you can tell looking at Wright's strength, 95 can't play off this block. You can see right there, he's just completely just caught up trying to defend himself, embrace himself. You see that stance the defensive lineman is right there? That means he's getting absolutely just bodied by Darnell Wright, and he's bracing himself. That's what they teach you as a defensive lineman, to drop down low to prevent yourself from getting absolutely mollywopped. When you have a right tackle that can, on these zone double teams, get this kind of leverage and get this kind of strength on defensive tackle, you've got to get moving if you're the guard. Get moving. Get on 55. Get a hand on him or something. Because look at this hole right here. If 64 can just get a piece of 55, that's a huge play. Instead, 24 has to keep it wide. Ends up being a 3 or 4 yard run. But when you have a tackle that has the strength and the athleticism to get on the backside, square up, and just body a defensive tackle like that, it opens up other opportunities in the running game. And I think this offseason, the Bears coaching staff, the rest of the players, they'll see film like this and they'll know they can make this play going forward.
Yeah, Nick, and when you look at the strength of a guy like Darnell Wright's game, it's definitely in the run blocking game. He had some very nice games. 66 overall grade for the season in his run blocking. And we're talking about a guy who came in as a rookie. He played 1,100 plus snaps. He got picked down a lot on what I would say is not a very good Bears unit. This offense as a whole really just had a lot of struggles and really wasn't an ideal situation, but we had a bright spot. It was a guy named Darnell Wright doing a lot of good things. And I think this coming season, the Bears fans have a lot to look forward to because this offense will not hang right out to dry as much this season.
All right, Bears fans, you guys want to see what I was talking about in the last play? This is an example of what the future is going to look like for the Bears. So the Bears are just kind of running a toss sweep right here, but it basically ends up being a wide zone scheme. Everyone's basically running this way, trying to cut people off, get these guys, these defensive players here, moving, flying that direction, right? You want everybody on the defense on the play side sprinting that direction. And then you want on the backside, your guard and your tackle to take and cut off number 90, the defensive tackle, and get on the linebacker. If you get everybody moving this way and you get a seal here, it's the easiest cutback to run behind for a huge play. Right on the previous play, we saw 64 stay too long on the defensive tackle. I think he learned from his mistake. He let Darnell Wright do a lot of legwork here. He got up to the linebacker, and the results were great for the Bears. Let's check it out. All right, there's the toss. You can see everybody sprinting. You can see 64. He doesn't stay nearly as long. He gets on 55. Darnell Wright gets this guy cut off. Big run. Let's go back and look at 58 here. Is he the most graceful looking guy in NFL history? Yeah, not even close, right? But he moves, man. This guy is an athlete. It's undeniably so. He covers a lot of ground very quickly. He gets on people, completely seals them off, opens up this running lane. This is all on Darnell Wright. This is all effort, athleticism, getting to the right spot and keep working, keep running your feet. And again, this is a guy I think he's about 90% there in terms of his confidence. He's still trying to figure a lot of things out clearly. You know, looking at his film in college, he was a lot more aggressive at times. I think with another year under his belt, he'll deliver a lot more pancake and impact kind of blocks because he'll feel more confident. But if you look at his performance, his athleticism, his ability to cut people off and make plays like that, Bears fans, you'll see a lot more runs like this in 2024. I tell you what, because you got offensive linemen who are starting to believe that Darnell Wright can make plays like this. All right, next game here against the Detroit Lions. This was obviously a tough loss for the Bears, but I tell you what, Darnell Wright had a great game against Detroit, showed a lot of good stuff. And here we're looking at a short yardage goal line situation. These are the kind of plays that really separate the good from great offensive linemen. So here the Bears are going to have just double teams on the play side, everyone working down, tight end working down, tight end working down, receiver working down, running back just looking for a place to pop right here. And in these kind of situations, it's really important on these down blocks and double teams is to get movement. Now, look, this guy, this defensive lineman right here, he's a good player. He's a run stuffer. His job is to not get moved. You're not going to blow this guy back 20 yards, 15 yards. It just ain't going to happen. You're just looking for one gap. So if you're down blocking here, if you're Darnell Wright, you want to move this guy from a B gap defender to an A gap defender. You want him moved over this way because then you'll create a natural hole here. And either the running back will run through it or someone will try to jump to cover it and the running back will then bounce outside that direction. Let's check out Darnell Wright here. Again, look at his down block, the way he's able to get movement against a run stuffer and open up a hole here for the Bears. All right, there's a snap. Watch him get into it. First of all, look at that pad level, folks. Look at where Darnell Wright's head and shoulders are compared to everyone else. He's lower than the center, lower than the guard, lower than the other guard, lower than the tackle, right? This is a defensive lineman. You see how low this defensive lineman is trying to get to not get blown up here? But Darnell Wright is keeping his pads lower than him. That's a great sign. But he gets on 94, and look how he keeps running his feet and keeps fighting. That's what I love. Because right here, this is a really good job by the defensive lineman trying to create a pile. But what Darnell Wright's able to do is to keep working, and he throws that defensive lineman inside and creates just an opportunity for these other guys, right? These tight ends to wash these people inside. Because if Darnell Wright can't get movement here, these Lion defenders will just sit in this area right here, create just a massive humanity, and the running back can't go anywhere. But because Darnell Wright gets movement, again, because he throws them inside, see how farther the rest of the Bears can wash down their defenders and allows the running back to bounce outside, gets one-on-one with a few DBs and gets down to about the half-inch yard line. It all starts up front with Darnell Wright getting movement, just like this, one gap over. That's all you need. Winning rep here from number 58.
Yeah, Nick, and going along with the trend of, the last 5 games of the season or so, Darnell Wright doing absolutely fantastic. You can look at the stats. We talked about his pass blocking efficiency. Let's look at some other key things like sacks allowed. All season, Darnell Wright, 7 sacks allowed. Kind of a lot, but you look at the last 5 games, only 1 sack allowed. Another thing that Darnell Wright really improved on, something that really was a hindrance, was penalties. 11 penalties this season. Last 5 games, only 1 penalty given up by Darnell Wright. We see the constant growth. We see the constant improvement by him. And I think you look at plays like this that you brought up to show the flashes of his ability. I think this is a guy who's really settling into his role as a player in the National Football League. We're going to see a huge year from him next year.
All right, let's end on a win here. This is the very next play. So here we go. That was from the 5 yard line before. Now we're down to about the half-yard line. Once again, goal line, run, short yardage, run blocking here. Everyone working inside, everyone trying to get movement. It's just a mass of humanity here. There, of course, is Darnell Wright. He's going to be one-on-one on number 79 for Detroit. And like on the previous play, the whole point here, in order to win, you've got to get movement. And again, this guy's playing low. Low man wins. He's not going to allow himself to be blown back this way. You've got to get movement down here. The goal, remember, right now, he's lined up in this gap, is to try and get him down to this gap right around where the guard is. Because if you get movement this way, running back can either go here, or these guys, more likely, like we saw before, can wash their guys here, and the running back can bounce. But what Darnell Wright does here is even more impressive. He doesn't just wash this guy here. He washes him completely over here. This is how you get a walk-in touchdown. Let's check it out. All right, there's a snap right there. Watch him wash him inside. He gets on 79, levers him up, takes his right arm, and just throws him inside right there and completely opens up the hole. Look at this space that opens up because of this, right? 79, he's trying to just stay in this gap right here between the guard and the tackle, right on the hash, right? 79, he gets paid. His mortgage depends on not getting moved outside this hash. Where does he ends up? About 4 yards inside the hash. Not paying the mortgage this month. This is all because of Darnell Wright washing him down inside. It is so hard to do what he's doing right here. This is impressive stuff. This is an anatomy of a walk-in touchdown, because when you get wash down movement like this, it allows your other guys to wash people down because there's all kind of green grass. Your running back gets to read it, and you get easy touchdowns, right? This is how you win games, running with and behind Darnell Wright, winning key blocks like this. We saw this against the Lions. We saw this against the Falcons. We saw this the entire second half of last year. I think Caleb Williams is going to be a star, but I think the more the Bears rely on the emergence of Darnell Wright, the better they will be in 2024.